if you were to look at the setting and the circumstance, the which you enter sex, like, um, are you entering it with safety? Are you, like, really getting to know ourselves? And this is where, like, the cannabis can give us an inside, like, can help us at least this getting high. Well, what I'm seeing is that we actually are getting into our higher self, into our higher consciousness. So, I'd like to hear more. If there was a way that I could actually, maybe we would change these eventually to Zoom, because I would really enjoy being able to converse with you about this exact problem. That when you get into your head and it blocks your orgasm, but only sometimes. Feel free to share about, if you want to write another in the chat about, like, what's coming, like how you get into your head, like where, or begin to notice what's taking you into your head, is because sometimes it can also be a form of, like, checking out, that we go into our head, like, where we might need to stop. Like, if you set the container with your partner, for example, let's, before we start this, if I start going into my head, let me stop and reset myself and check in with my body. Because I think that's, in my experience, that's really hard to do while sex is going on, like while you're being penetrated, or while any activity is going on with sex. I find it really I find it difficult to reset my system while sex is happening. So to invite your partner to, hey, let's just stop for a minute. Let me just recenter. And even if you were just to close your eyes, like, with me for a second, and just feel that, like, let me just stop for a second and take a deep breath and feel where I am in my body. And notice if any sensations come up, and really start cueing into that. And you can even practice that when you're not having sex. Like, go to that spot in your mind, and this is where the meditative or the practice comes in, where maybe 5 minutes a day you return to a place where, okay, let me just get recentered. What am I feeling in my body? And start paying attention to what you're feeling in your body when you're not having sex. I'll give you an example of what happens for me. Yesterday, I had to go, I'm having a construction project. I bought a condo, and anyway, I was running around picking up stuff, and I was like, I heard my body say, I'm thirsty. And I heard myself say, yeah, but let's get a drink after. And I'm gonna get a drink right now, actually. I heard my mind say, let's get a drink after. We got all these things that we're doing. We're busy. And then I heard myself say, I really need to pee too. And I said, you know what? Let's do it after. Let's just go to Lowe's and get the things you need to do and get it done. So I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but those are the cues to start listening to. Because I ended up coming back to my apartment, coming in here, having a drink of water, going to pee, use the bathroom, and then going to Lowe's. So it's part of maintenance. it's how to maintain, like, being orgasmic. Like, and I don't mean having climax, like having the the actual climax. I'm talking about being in an orgasmic state where we listen to our bodies. We're connected to what's going on. When we get that, when we listen and start, and one of the ways you can start practicing, this is what I used to teach